Welcome back to the MaxiFi Getting Started video series. I'm Ed O'Connor-Giles, CTO for MaxiFi, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create your first budget, which is an annual budget that will allow you to track your income and expenses against what the MaxiFi base plan told you that you could spend and expect for your income. So the first step, of course, would be to run your base plan. You want to make sure that you have a base plan that you're comfortable with, that you feel captures your current economic situation and is a good plan for your future, and that you're ready to stick with it for this year and you just want to track along with those numbers. So there's a couple ways you can create the budget from there. At the very bottom of the dashboard report on your base plan, you'll see a Create a Budget button. Another way you can do that is by clicking the Create Budget button that appears in the top menu at any time. Now, you can only create a budget for the base plan. Alternative plans or profiles are really for exploring different options or making choices. But when you've decided on what path you're going to take, then you would apply it to the base plan. And that's why a budget, which is really meant to be tracked for the remainder of the year, is really only applicable to the base plan. Now, the first couple screens here when you first create a budget are just reflecting back what is in the base plan. They're showing you the total income that was determined from the base plan here, basically $200,000 of labor as well as some returns on regular assets. And you can review these numbers and the numbers that it shows you for the fixed spending and saving. But these numbers are all coming from your base plan directly. So if there are mistakes here, you see something that you don't think is right, like your mortgage is less than this amount, or you expect to pay more in property tax, you really need to fix that in the base plan, because that's going to affect your plan, not just your budget. You need to fix it, make sure your base plan is accurate, and then come back through here. So for those first two screens, that's what's happening. You should just kind of take a quick look at these numbers and make sure they are what you expect. And then the last screen here is where you get your discretionary spending amount. So this is the projected total discretionary spending for this year from the base plan. And what we're going to do is break that up into smaller categories so that you can track against them. You might want to track your food budget from your gas budget, from your other travel budget, or whatever. And you can budget from scratch. If you know those numbers and categories that you want to use, you can just go to this option and just start creating here. You can enter a name, let's say travel. You can enter an amount. You can choose, is this an annual amount or is this an amount you expect to pay on a monthly basis? Here at the bottom of the screen, you'll see what remains to be budgeted and what you've currently got set aside in your budget. So $400 every month gives us an annual amount of $4,800. So I have $115,000 left to budget. I can add a new budget category here. I can get rid of a category there, and it's going to keep track of that. And then when I'm done with building my budget, I can save and start tracking. But let's go back to the other option, which is using a typical budget. Now, this just comes from budget categories based on the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the percentages they use, in a typical household. And so we just take the discretionary spending that you're allocated and split it across these various categories. You can review these numbers, and you can change them just like I showed you in the other screen. You can change the amounts, change the name, change the term, whatever you want to do, add or remove categories. So it's really just a starting point for you to create your own budget. And you can see here that we try to budget everything, but there might be a little bit left over. So in this case, $3 not yet budgeted. That's not a problem. You don't have to budget every dollar, just kind of what you want to track. Anything that you don't budget, if you don't spend it, you're going to basically just save it by default. So it's really not a problem. Once you're comfortable with your budget, then you click the Save and Start Tracking button. Now that takes you to the budget tracker overview, and I'm going to create a different video for people who want to track their budget within MaxiFi. Some people want to use MaxiFi to track their budget throughout the year. Others just wanted to kind of create the budget, create the different categories and spending targets, and then track that in a spreadsheet or some other tool. And that's perfectly fine. What you want to do at this point, if you don't want to use MaxiFi for tracking, is you'll go to the Download tab, and you can download an Excel version of the budget tracker. That's going to give you all the income, spending, and all your discretionary spending categories and amounts for this year, so that you can go ahead and track however you want. If you're completely done with your budget, or you decide you want to start over from scratch, you on the Overview tab, you can click this Delete Budget Tracker Data button. That is going to delete all of your budget tracker data. Don't worry, you can just start over again from the base plan, create a new budget, and then break down your discretionary spending budget again. It's a pretty simple process to get a budget set up. So that's it for this video. If you are interested in tracking your budget for the year within MaxiFi, look for the video on that topic. Thanks.